As stated in the notice of this meeting, we have 10 items on the agenda today, including 6 shareholder proposals. The first item is the election of 12 members of the Board of Directors. Each director holds office for a term of 1 year. The following 12 directors are nominated for election at this meeting by the company: Mary Barra, Safra Katz, Amy Chang, Jeremy Durock, Carolyn Everson, Michael Froman, James Gorman, Bob Iger, Mel Lagomasino, Calvin McDonald, Mark Parker, and Derica Rice. All of the company's nominees have been duly nominated. The board recommends a vote for the election of only the 12 company director nominees. As you're aware, certain wholly owned subsidiaries of Trian Fund Management LP, whom I will collectively refer to as the Trian Group, gave notice to the company of their intention to nominate 2 individuals to serve on the company's board and present a proposal. Blackwell's Onshore One LLC and Blackwell's Capital LLC, whom I will collectively refer to as the Blackwell's Group, gave notice to the company of their intention to nominate 3 individuals to serve on the company's board and present a proposal. The names of those candidates have been identified in the proxy materials sent to you by the Trian Group and by the Blackwell's Group. We hereby waive the requirement for either the Trian Group or the Blackwell's Group to formally nominate its candidates or present its proposals. Accordingly, I declare the nominations for directors closed. At this time, I would like to invite Nelson Peltz, as representative of the Trian Group, to provide up to 3 minutes of remarks.
Your line is open, sir.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Nelson Peltz. I'm CEO and founding partner of Trian. We have more than $3.5 billion invested in Disney. At Trian, we invest in great companies that for one reason or another have stumbled, and we seek to collaborate with leadership to make them better. There is no doubt that Disney is an iconic company that fits this bill. Disney has some of the greatest brands in entertainment and unforgettable theme parks and experiences. It is a company that occupies a special place in the hearts of millions of people around the world, including me. We invested in Disney in late 2022. The company has refocused on costs, has set double-digit margin targets for the streaming business, has rationalized the quantity of content under production, has announced several new ESPN-related initiatives, and has added 2 new directors. However, Triangle still has continuing concerns about the current strategy and the current board. All we want is for Disney to get back to making great content and delighting consumers, and for Disney to create sustainable long-term value for all of its shareholders. It is undeniable that the shareholders have suffered over the last few years as the stock dropped from $200 per share. While the last few months have been great for the stock, the long-term track record still remains disappointing. This is also our second go-round with Disney. We hope that this time will be our last and that shareholders will not be let down like a year ago. We continue to believe that the board bears responsibility for this track record, and we believe the board needs to continue to improve its focus, alignment, and accountability, and we hope it will. We want to thank Jay Rizzullo, who demonstrated his real love of this company by agreeing to work with us to help improve Disney. And we want to thank Disney shareholders who have listened to both sides. We are grateful for the support and the dialogue with them during this campaign. You've made your voices heard. And regardless of the outcome of today's vote, Tryon will be watching the company's performance. We hope this campaign has had a positive impact on Disney, serving as a significant catalyst for value creation. The result is that since we re-engaged with the company last October, Disney's stock is up about 50% and is the Dow's best performer year to date. What we have demonstrated in the past is that when shareholders focus their attention
Mr. Peltz,
on a
you have
board
exceeded the time
directed
limit. Please
out-
finish.
Okay, start to perform. We hope this board meets this message. On behalf of Tryon, thank you again for your support and the opportunity to speak today. We wish all the best to all the stakeholders of this great company. Thank you for my uninterrupted message.
The Board of Directors does not endorse the Tryon Group nominees and has recommended a vote against the Tryon Group proposal for the reasons set out in our proxy statement. The Blackwells Group has declined our invitation to address shareholders at this meeting. The Board of Directors does not endorse the Blackwells Group nominees and has recommended a vote against the Blackwells Group proposal. The next item is the ratification of the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP as the company's independent registered public accountants for the current fiscal year, as recommended by the Audit Committee of the Board of Directors. David Johnson, a representative of PricewaterhouseCoopers, is here today to respond to any questions. The board recommends a vote for the ratification of the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers as the company's independent registered public accountants for fiscal 2024. The next item is the advisory vote on executive compensation. We are seeking advisory shareholder approval of the compensation of our named executive officers, and the board recommends a vote for this proposal. The next item is the vote on the approval of an amendment and restatement of the company's amended and restated 2011 Stock Incentive Plan to increase the number of shares authorized for issuance. The board recommends a vote for the approval of this amendment and restatement. The next item is a shareholder proposal by Kenneth Steiner. The full text of the proposal is set forth in the proxy statement. I understand that John Chevedden, as representative of the shareholder, is here to present this proposal, and I would like to invite him to do so. I would ask that he limit the presentation to 2 minutes at most.
Your line is open, sir.
Proposal 5, shareholder ratification of excessive golden parachute, sponsored by Kenneth Steiner. This is John Chevedden. Shareholders request that the board seek shareholder approval of new or renewed pay packages that provide for a golden parachute with a estimated total value exceeding 2.99 times the sum of the executive's base salary plus target short-term bonus. The board shall retain the option to seek shareholder approval at an annual meeting after the material terms of golden parachutes are agreed upon. Generous performance-based pay can sometimes be justified, but shareholder ratification of golden parachutes with a total cost exceeding 2.99 times base salary plus target short-term bonus better aligns management pay with shareholder interest. This proposal has already been partially successful in leading Disney to adopt a version of this proposal in December 2023 that would subject excessive cash golden parachutes to a shareholder vote. However, the weakness in the new Disney policy is that Disney executives could circumvent the new Disney policy by loading up on non-cash golden parachute payments. This proposal is relevant even if there are golden parachute limits in employment agreements, since there is no shareholder vote if an employment agreement is revised to permit an excessive golden parachute. This proposal places no limit on long-term equity pay or any other type of executive pay. It simply requires that extra large golden parachutes be subject to a non-binding shareholder vote at a shareholder meeting already scheduled for other matters. This proposal is especially relevant because the annual say on executive pay vote does not have a separate section for approving or rejecting golden parachutes. Please vote yes. ratification of excessive golden parachutes, Proposal 5.
The Board of Directors has recommended a vote against this proposal for the reasons set out in the proxy statement. The next item is a shareholder proposal by the Educational Foundation of America. The full text of the proposal is set forth in the proxy statement. I understand that Laura Nixon is here to present this proposal, and I would like to invite her to do so. I would ask that she limit the presentation to 2 minutes at most.
Your line is open, ma'am.
Good afternoon. The Educational Foundation of America is a long-term investor in Disney stock. We're asking Disney not to just disclose its political contributions, as they have been doing, but to account for them, to demonstrate the company's spending is rational, strategic, and producing a positive return on investment. Disney's odyssey through Florida politics in the last several years demonstrates as to why this kind of reporting is needed. In recent years, Disney contributed over $100,000 to an administration that took aim at Disney's employees, mocked the company's values at a national level, and then punished Disney by diminishing its tax breaks and degree of self-governance. There are other examples that raise questions about Disney's political spending patterns. Our company has supported politicians working against progress on climate, even as extreme heat days steadily climb in the Orlando area and Paris, and fires rage in California. It touts its efforts to promote women to leadership positions within the company, but nearly 3/4 of Disney's political contributions went to anti-choice politicians in Florida in the 5-year run-up to 2022's 15-week abortion ban. Next month, a 6-week abortion ban will go into effect in Florida. That is before most women even know they are pregnant. 1 in 4 women will have an abortion in her lifetime. Think of the harm to Disney's Florida workforce over the years to come. And finally, Disney has also supported politicians who promote the 2020 stolen election conspiracy theory. With this proposal, we believe it's time for Disney to provide accountability to shareholders that it's spending its political dollars wisely and in alignment with its core principles and interests. Thank you.
The Board of Directors has recommended a vote against this proposal for the reasons set out in the proxy statement. The next item is a shareholder proposal by the National Legal and Policy Center. The full text of the proposal is set forth in the proxy statement. I understand that Chloe Cole is here to present this proposal, and I would like to invite her to do so. I would ask that she limit the presentation to 2 minutes at most.
Your line is open, ma'am.
Good morning. I am Chloe Cole, patient advocate for Do No Harm, a group that seeks accountability in the medical profession. I am presenting proposal number 7 titled Report on Gender Transitioning Compensation and Benefits, sponsored by National Legal and Policy Center. Disney pays for gender transition interventions, but not detransitioning care. Therefore, the company discriminates based on gender identity under EEOC regulations. I speak from personal experience as someone who was deceived and physically harmed at a young age by gender ideology, validated by the medical industry and pushed to the masses by corporations like Disney. Influenced by modern media and social networks, I began a transition to male at age 12. By age 16, after practitioners I trusted encouraged me to take puberty blockers and get a double mastectomy, I tried to come back to reality, but it was too late. My body has been irreversibly damaged, and years later, my chest is still in bandages. My doctors have abandoned me. You doctors look and shrug. As a result, I am suing those professionals who steered me into taking these destructive steps that have permanently scarred me. But Disney, in its arrogance, has responded to our proposal by stating that I am only trying to generate attention for a limited agenda. Mr. Iger, Disney, under your watch, is pushing the limited agenda of gender ideology. Disney has become the Ursula that is stealing the voices of thousands of little Ariels across the world by telling us that we can be something that we can never become. The lawsuits are coming, sir. It's only a matter of time before current or past employees whose bodies and lives have been irreversibly harmed will show up at your door looking for justice and restitution. Please vote for proposal number 7.
The Board of Directors has recommended a vote against this proposal for the reasons set out in the proxy statement. The next item is a shareholder proposal by the National Center for Public Policy Research. The full text of the proposal is set forth in the proxy statement. I understand that Scott Shepard is here to present this proposal, and I would like to invite him to do so. I would ask that he limit the presentation to 2 minutes at most.
Your line is open, sir.
Thank you. Corporations, by law, must avoid needless material risks. Maybe the most unnecessary come from partnerships with charities that push extreme, divisive, hot-button positions that no one honest would call core to the company's business, especially if the extreme positions appall most customers. Fiduciary duty requires honest, full review of likely objective risk and reward to the company. To skip or to fake this, or to proceed anyway, breaches fiduciary duty, and in this context, it loads risks on shareholders for the benefits only of the CEO and advancing his private obsessions. That looks like self-dealing to us. And does it sound familiar at all, Mr. Iger? A clever preteen could have told you that making Disney synonymous with force-feeding radical gender ideology to small school children and then hiding it from the parents would send Disney's core audience flooding away, maybe not forever, but through your death grip on power. Ditto for trying to destroy girls' chances to shine in their own sports, and on and on. But really, Mr. Iger, you had to know all that. Heck, you hired and kept people who boasted they'd make Disney entertainment designed to drive away Disney's core audience. Thing is, though, Bertolt Brecht wasn't a business guru, as the Iger-era disaster displays. It violates every single CEO duty to dissolve a corporation's uber-loyal customer base, then try to convene a new one submissive to your extremist niche worldview. We hear you once wanted the White House and to go down in business history. I think the latter's sewn up, but maybe not the way you hoped. So yes, let's have an audit of your partnering record, count up the unnecessary risks that just happen to push your private agenda, and hope that brand new faces sit in your places to start to assess the damage and responsibility. Fiduciary duty does not endorse the Iger record.
The Board of Directors has recommended a vote against this proposal for the reasons set out in the proxy statement. The next two items are shareholder proposals by the Trian Group and the Blackwells Group, respectively. The full text of each proposal is set forth in the proxy statement. As previously noted, the Board of Directors has recommended a vote against each proposal. If you're voting today, you must submit your votes at this time in order for them to be counted by the Inspector of Election. The Inspector of Election will not consider ballots, proxies, or votes, or any changes or revocations thereof submitted after the closing of the polls. We will pause to give anyone a final chance to vote. It is now 10:22 Pacific time, and the polls for each matter to be voted on at this meeting are now closed. We are pleased to announce that based on the tabulation of our proxy solicitor, it appears that the full Disney slate has been elected by a substantial margin over the Trian Group nominees and the Blackwells Group nominees. Additionally, it appears that proposals 2, 3, and 4 have been approved by the shareholders, while proposals 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 have failed to win shareholder approval. However, we note that due to the contested nature of this meeting, the final results of the voting will be announced by means of the report of the Inspector of Election and will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Preliminary or final voting results will also be reported in a current report on Form 8-K that the company will file with the Securities and Exchange Commission within the next 4 business days. That concludes the business portion of the meeting.